diesen Song.
Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. This is really weird. Joining me as a guest, co-host Jodie Esquibel, who will be in action at the Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino in an NABF title fight. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Is it?
Yes.
So tell the people, where the heck have you been the past 3 weeks?
Training.
How has that gone?
It's really good. You know, camp gets a little crazy sometimes, and yeah, that's where I've been.
Yeah, Buffalo Thunder, Holmes Boxing Promotions. What do you know about your opponent, Mayela Perez, and how pumped are you that it's for the NABF title?
You know what? Mayela is an extremely tough opponent, and I feel like boxing has kind of a bad rap for bringing in cans for people to fight for titles.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before, and we've definitely filtered through some opponents, and I feel like I chose the harder opponent, but for a reason, because I didn't want to be that boxer that brought in a can to fight for a title. If I fight nobody for a title, then really what does that mean, you know? And how long am I fighting for? You know, I want every fight to be important right now. So we picked maybe a tougher opponent that most would for a hometown title fight, but I'm excited about it. So.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, you're also signed to Invicta FC, which is the all-women's MMA promotion. How soon before we see you back in the cage?
You know what? I try to take one fight at a time right now, but I do feel like I'm the best that I've ever been right now, and so I don't want to take time off. I made it through this camp completely healthy. I know that, and like I said, I'm not trying to look past this weekend, but I know that there's a card in July in Vegas, and I would love to fight in July. I feel like I'm one fight away from being #1 contender. You know, this is going to be my year to just collect titles. So let's get them rolling.
So you feel good about that quick turnaround?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're talking about weeks that
will
take place.
I think maybe I would take a week off, and then I've done the math, and I would go back into camp. But I feel that good right now that why not?
Talk about balancing both sports, because it was a year and a half ago that you last had your boxing fight in New York, and you know you fought between you were hurt for a while, right? Mm-hmm. Talk about the injury that you had, and of course, I guess balancing the two.
The injury, I broke my hand in my last fight, and I feel like I'm 100% healed. I didn't really take that much time off. You know, I did what I could to stay busy and stay positive and stay active, and this will be actually my first fight back off of the injury, which is cool. It happened quick, and I feel good about it. Balancing the two has been a lot different this time around. In the beginning, I felt like maybe I cheated MMA a little bit because I was so confident in my hands that I knew that I was going to be fine. I learned how to defend a takedown and get back to my feet, basically. And I could intertwine the two camps. Now that I'm understanding boxing and MMA a little bit more on different levels and really understanding the sweet science, boxing and MMA are worlds apart. It's just, I've really had my eyes opened this camp around it. And I was always like, I'll still wrestle and go to jiu-jitsu or whatever. No, it's been all boxing all day, every day. Training's even different, you know. And I've been lucky enough to work with Danny Romero a little bit for this fight, and fixing my range from MMA range to boxing range is completely different, you know. And so as far as switching back and forth, I still feel like I'm the best that I've ever been. So if MMA comes in July, then awesome, you know, then great.
Go into that a little bit more about training mitts with someone like Brandon or Wink, and then a former world boxing champion like Danny Romero.
Yeah, talk about humbling experiences, you know, Mr. Winklejohn alone, you know, Brandon Gibson, and then to be able to kind of pick Danny Romero's brain and his father and senior, you know, and they're both there in the gym, and to be able to work with them and man, Danny and his father are just a wealth of knowledge, you know, and they're pure boxing at it since the very beginning, you know, and just clean the sweet science, you know, like that's some real boxing going on there. And so to be able to switch and kind of say, you know, boxers don't throw the overhand, you know, or when that's how I broke my hand in my last fight, or, you know, just getting an opinion from a true boxer it's been very humbling, you know, and Danny Romero is has quite the resume, you know.
And despite your success in MMA, it was boxing that first got you introduced to the arts, right? Talk about your start.
You know what? And I do feel like I just feel like everything's kind of coming home right now. You know, I kickboxed a bunch, but when we turned pro, a lot of it was boxing. And so to be able to fight here in New Mexico for a title and it be boxing is really been something that means a lot to me.
Who got you into the sport to begin with?
I started at the age of 14, and I just happened to be walking to Mike Winklejohn's gym, and it was kind of in that transition period, you know, 14 years old, you're either hanging out with the wrong crew or playing sports, and I kind of, you know, I played soccer a little bit, did a little gymnastics, but nothing really stuck until I walked into Mike Winklejohn's gym and had my first amateur fight. The rest is history.
How much would it mean to you to have, I guess, this NABF title that you're fighting for at Buffalo Thunder Saturday, and then maybe fight for the Invicta title or actually capture that 105-pound title? How crazy would that be?
You know what? I think it would be amazing, you know, and why not? Like, why can't I do that right now? You know, I feel, like I said, I feel the best that I've ever felt. I feel like all the years and all the hours that I've put into, it's right now. You know, now's the time to go for it. I'm healthy, and let's go for it. I'll collect titles all year, you know?
Yeah. For people that have never seen you fight, how would you describe like who you are in the ring compared to who you are in the cage? Are you two different animals?
Oh, you know, that's a good question. Now that I'm a little more comfortable in the cage, I feel like I'm kind of bringing myself full circle, because in the ring I feel, you know, very comfortable, very ring savvy. Okay, there's the rope, blah blah blah. And at first you get into a cage, they lock the door. You can't talk to your coach anymore. Like you're looking through them through the fence. Whereas boxing, you can be like, okay, cool. You know, Wink can do the whole tap on your back and just little differences like that is huge. But I feel like my personality is coming full circle as far as being comfortable in the cage as well, you know, and as much as I try to be patient, and that's kind of what Danny's been working on with me, you know, I kind of get a little over aggressive. Mm-hmm. I'm just aggressive, you know, it's time. I have the aggressive nature, and I'm trying to calm down, and everything will be everything, you know, it's gonna be nice.
And so. I guess I can assume the MMA cut is worse than the boxing one?
You know what? This, what's awesome is the weight is about 2 pounds heavier for this than what I usually have to. And some people are like, 2 pounds, no big deal.
Yeah.
Those last 2 pounds, I'm super pumped about right now. So actually this time around, I have a little bit more lenience than I'm used to. So I think this one I can't touch 108, and usually I can't touch be over 106. Yeah. So I'll take the 2 pounds, absolutely. I'm bigger than I've been walking around lately. So
what do you attribute that to? What are you eating, girl?
You know, oh man, it happened easier than people are like, I'm gonna go up in weight, and that stuff happens really easy for me. So I've actually been working really closely with Mike Dolce. And he talks to me every day, all day, and he's walked me through this. I feel like I'm not doing it by myself, and he probably gets tired of me texting him all the time. And like, I woke up 5 pounds heavier, and he's super positive. Like he's the coolest guy, and he's like, yeah, you're good, it's fine, and don't panic. And so it's been good. He's been super helpful.
Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank out there?
Specifically, I would like to thank Dr. Fogey for this fight in the Mayo Clinic. He has been my doctor throughout this whole process. He's dedicated to all types of professional athletes here in New Mexico. And actually, without him for this fight, it just wouldn't be happening. You know, he's been very present in my camp, and he does all just cardiology, general family. He's awesome. They take all insurances. I know this sounds like a commercial, but he really has helped me a lot, and I want to thank him, my coaches, of course, the whole team. You know, I have a lot of people to thank. Yes. But
Saturday night, Buffalo Thunder. Make sure you guys go check her out. NABF title. Combat Sports Weekly's own Jodie Esquibel. Stick around. We're gonna jump over to the round table.